In this lesson, you're going to learn about my #1 way on how to determine the hold entry pattern itself. And the way I do it is I look at my handy dandy heading indicator that is directly in front of me, and then I take my pencil or pen and I superimpose it on the heading indicator. And now I'm going to either use my right hand thumb or my left hand thumb. So what I mean by that is if it's a standard hold, which is a right hand turn hold, I'm going to use my right hand thumb and then push this line up by 20 degrees. The reverse is true if it's a left hand turn racetrack pattern, which is non-standard. I'm going to use my left hand thumb and push this pencil up by 20 degrees to determine the coordinates we're going to use. All right, so let's look at a standard turn hold. And as you know, the standard turns for a hold is going to be a right-hand turn racetrack. In your airplane, you're going to have your heading indicator. And let's assume you're flying directly to the station on a heading of north, because this technique only works when you're flying directly to the station. So what you want to do is to first draw a line directly through your heading. Next, draw another line perpendicular to your heading. Now, what you want to do is to superimpose your pencil on this line. Because it's a right-hand turn, you're going to use your right hand thumb to now push the line up 20 degrees from the right. We're going to be using our right thumb to now push this line up 20 degrees offset from that right hand corner. And now you can see we have 3 quadrants. In the largest quadrant, we have a direct entry. In the smallest quadrant, we have an offset entry. And in the next largest quadrant, we have the parallel entry. So just looking at this, you can see that the offset entry is going to take up the least amount of space in that quadrant. That's the easiest way to figure that one out. Now that we have our quadrants drawn out, we have to know where our inbound radial is going to fit in. So let's assume our inbound radial is from around 150 degrees. We're going to have our airplane flying over 150 degrees, and that's going to be our direct entry. Let's assume that we're going to come in from the northeast corner now, and we fly our airplane in that corner, and that's going to be an offset entry. And finally, let's assume that our airplane is going to be coming in from the northwest corner. So in this case, it's going to be a parallel entry based on our heading. So in summary, because we're using a right-hand turn, we're going to move the pencil up, and now we can see our quadrants. The biggest piece of the pie takes up the direct entry, the next biggest is the parallel, and the smallest is going to be the offset. And then all you have to do after that is to input in where your inbound radial is going to be. Let's look at the left-hand turn holding pattern. This is when the racetrack is off on the left-hand side. And remember, this is the only time ATC will specify left-hand turns. If it's a standard holding pattern, ATC does not specify right turn. It's only when it's a left-hand turn. So once again, let's use my pencil and heading indicator method to make this easy. So remember, for this one, you have to be flying directly to the station in order for this to work. In this case, we're taking up a north heading directly to the station. We're going to draw a line directly through the heading, then draw a perpendicular line. Now input your pencil on the line, and because it's a left-hand turn, we're going to use our left thumb, and then we're going to move our pencil up by a certain amount of degrees. Do you remember from the previous lesson what that number is? If you said 20 degrees, you're correct. Let's move the pencil up 20 degrees, and now we can clearly see the quadrants. In the bottom hand corner, we have the direct entry. In the smallest section, we're always going to have the offset entry. And in the next largest section, we're going to have the parallel entry. So depending where your airplane is coming from, you have to input in the inbound radial, superimpose it on top of the heading indicator, and then you're going to know whether to do either direct, parallel, or offset entry. So once again, just to summarize, if it's a standard right-hand turn, we're going to use our right-hand thumb and move the pencil off to the right-hand side to figure out our quadrants. And if it's a left-hand turn, the non-standard hold entry, we're going to use our left-hand thumb to then move the pencil off to the left-hand side by 20 degrees. And now we can clearly see the quadrants. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video till the end. This is my #1 favorite way to determine the type of hold entry. But you have to keep in mind, this thing only works if you're flying directly to the fix. That way, the heading indicator will show the heading of the fix right on the top. So look for my next lesson on my #2 most favorite way on how to determine a hold entry.